Hi, hello, welcome to the Daily Tarot Buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Cancer. That's going to be a fourth house event. We have a particularly interesting reading today. It's going to be a little bit different than usual, so bear with us. It might seem sloppy and disorganized. I assure you it isn't. It is, however, alternative and a little bit out there. So we have the energy already. We're going to do a couple different costume changes here. And I'm just going to talk to you briefly before I get in the message. Again, if you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's a delight and a privilege and an honor to serve you. Thank you for allowing me to do so. We started the cast yesterday. Okay. I don't know really what that means because it wasn't yesterday, it was last night. And immediately we ran into some problems. So the fourth house is the part of us where we're wishy squishy. It's our heart chakra. The fourth house also talks about the home and or the mother. It can even talk about the interior of the car. So what that really means is private spaces and places. Think about it as opposing the 10th house. So the 10th house is our public image. So the fourth house would be maybe our self-image, but it's image, not so much the self, that would be first house, or others, that would be seventh house. So the opposite of public image would be self-image, feelings, thoughts, concepts, theories that we apply or we use as a placeholder for the self. It would also talk about the mother. So the mother could be our alma mater, meaning where we come from, the school that we grew up in, sometimes even the hometown. There's a few little bit of extra pieces here, but I like to also give the concept an idea of fourth house, eighth house, 12th house. So fourth house is privacy, eighth house is secrecy, 12th house is discretion. Okay. So it's our home base. It's where we go to kind of rejuvenate, recuperate, reconvene, recollect, sometimes even rest and recover. It's our, think about it as our like secret layer, our private layer, our home base. It's where we kind of regroup. I look at it as where is the vanity of our life? Where do we put our face on? All right. So there's some energy, entity, ideology. It may be malignant, malevolent, malicious. It may just be adversarial, oppositional. It's getting into our private places and spaces, or it may even have been there. I'm still here. I know I'm off camera. It may even be having snuck in there a while ago and it's just being purged or removed, or it may be that we're open and vulnerable to something that has gotten in or is trying to get in, and there's a bit or a few pieces of energy, vulnerability, where there's still like an accessibility, an approachability. Sometimes we're amenable or agreeable to some madness, to some toxic la-di-da, yada-yada. So that's going to be something that's shifting and ending because, Cancer is about 7 days away from Libra. Cancer is what we call square to Libra. They are both cardinal signs. One is air, one is water. So in about a week or so, we're going to have this Libra full moon. And girl, let me tell you, homeboy, let me tell you, it's going to shift. The world might shift, turn on its axis and pivot in another direction. I wouldn't be surprised. That would not shock me at all. Okay. So what are we working up to is really what we should think about, because that's also indicative of the fourth house. It's that pause before action. It's that kind of, even like think of it as like a bow. If you're going to shoot a bow and arrow, you have the bow, you pull it back before it shoots forward the arrow. So think about the fourth and the third and the fourth house are kind of like that. Where do we pivot? Where do we turn? Where do we reconvene? Where do we take a moment? What do we lean on to regain our composure, even? If we're feeling a little faint or a little bit wobbly, what do we reach out for and grab onto before we kind of walk the path again? That's the fourth house. As I was saying before, something has gotten in. Something got into the wishy coochie places, the warm and squishy places. I look at it as like if we're eating, we have the soup, and then if something got in, a fly got in the soup. Okay. So what does that look like? That's really what's going on. And I need to take a minute here because I've already done this reading, at least the first part. I already had a moment in the energy. I recorded about 27 minutes. And the recording went okay, but I changed the reading mid-read. And after 27 minutes, I realized that the mic was off. We were on mute. So there's something here because we've been doing something and it hasn't been going much of anywhere. That's one thing to think about. The other thing, this is blue jasmine tea. The other thing to think about is we might have been doing something and it just been wrong. So it's not just that we could be spinning our wheels going nowhere, but we might have been doing something and it's going wrong. Okay. So as we do this cast, as we convene the meeting today, let's take a slightly alternative viewpoint of things. Let's look at what we've been looking at this whole time, a little askew, a little sideways. Let's see if we can gain another perspective or shift our perception ever so slightly, or maybe largely, almost entirely. It's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the baseline of the reading. That'll be the overall energy for this entire spread, and it will shift and change. Okay, but what's going to be the baseline is what's going to be locked in for this next couple few days. And this is just for a tiny little period in time, but I want you to think of everything leading up to this Libra full moon, which is 7 days from now, and what's happening right immediately after the Libra full moon. So a couple days from there. So really the next 10 or even 14 days, let's take a cold hard look at that. I'd say from last quarter to first quarter, meaning leading up to the week leading up to the full moon and the week leading away from the full moon. Let's just take a cold hard look at that and let's apply all these little bits and tips and tricks and all these little strategies and understandings and new emerging intuition and insight. Let's address that for the next kind of 10 days, the week before and the week after the Libra full moon, because it is monumental, it is pivotal. So as I was saying, the overall energy for this entire cast, even though it's going to shift and change, what will remain the same will be Ace of Pentacles, Justice, Death card, Page of Swords. Again, I repeat, Ace of Pentacles, Justice, Death card, Page of Swords. It's a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the pleasure to do so. Again, my name is Serene Priestess Abossi. I will be your oracle today. I am welcoming you into the daily tarot buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Cancer, and that is during Aries season. So during Aries season, a transiting event in the sign of Cancer is actually a fourth house event. I was already talking about it's our private place, it's our home base, it's where we go to recollect, reconvene, sometimes to recuperate or at least rejuvenate, okay? It's that warm and squishy place, it's that warm and fuzzy place, it's that woochie coochie coo, our home base, our self-image. It's also, if we are stumbling, if we are wobbly, it's that place we reach out to regain composure. If we're finding that we're about to slip and fall or trip and stumble, where do we reach out to? It's kind of one of those subconscious things, all right? So again, with the baseline energy of Ace of Pentacles, Justice card, Death card, and Page of Swords, one thing I do want to say is Page of Swords and the Justice card can talk about having a Venus or an descendant in Libra. Okay, so it's saying that we're leading up to, we're preparing for Libra season. And it doesn't have to be the whole Libra season, meaning the sun doesn't need to be in the sign of Libra. It could just be an event happening in Libra season, which, you know, but again, it can also talk about Libra season because we have the ninth. The ninths talk about the whole movement, and the pages would talk just about a little tiny happening. So we have the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords here, okay? But that's far off the Knight of Swords. Right here down in it is the page. And it's saying like we're going to receive or we're being prepared for something happening in Libra. To a lesser degree, it could also talk about Venus in the 7th house or Venus in the sign of Libra. It can, to a lesser degree, also talk about Aries rising, and I would say that too, because we have the Emperor and the Empress out. It's the second reading in as many days where we have the Emperor and the Empress. And as much as it's talking about waking up and reconvening, as much as it's talking about waking up and recognize, as much as it's doing the whole Jerry Springer black girl rolling the chicken neck saying, you better recognize, it's also saying that there's some level of somewhere around here. And in as many days, in as many times, the number is 2, it's also said that we will gain a big, severe, and successive leg up by incorporating a little bit of love into our heart, into our life, whether or not it's with an intimate union, one-on-one, like a romantic union or a marriage union, something of that nature. It can also be that we're just reunifying or renewing our vows to the divine. So whether it is a marriage or a romantic type of situation, or it's some type of marriage to the spirit through a priestesshood, a sisterhood, or through some type of, you know, romantical situation, we're either unifying to a person where um, our partnership together equals some type of spiritual throne, or we're unifying under a spirit in collective, or we are entering a priestesshood or sisterhood where collectively we revere a deity. That's what's going on here. And it's, again, this is the second time in as many days where I'm saying this, mentioning this. And again, it's the second time in as many days where I'm calling attention to the Emperor and the Empress being on our side, coming out like this. So we have also the Six of Pentacles, Six of Wands. Six of Wands is receiving glory. Six of Pentacles is receiving favor. Okay. We also have the Devil here with the Ace of Wands. So that can be the gate to hell. It also can be some kind of temptation. And I'm feeling that it's been some type of temptation, because we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords present. So when you see the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, that is talking more about Capricorn season, because I don't think it's about Libra season. I think it's about a Libra event. When the full moon, or when Saturn, or when Venus enters into the sign of Libra, is when something's going to happen. And it's most likely the moon, because that's what's around the corner. And the timing indicators here say that something's been planned for the last week and is leading up to something 2 weeks from now. So that way that basically works is between the moons, because it's a bunch of 9s and 7s. 9s refer to cycles of the moon, for timing indicators at least. Okay. So we have here Capricorn season, an event in Libra. We have the Emperor, the Empress. We have the Devil with the Ace of Wands. We have a double ace, a pair of aces. We have a double knight, a pair of knights. We have a double six, a pair of sixes. We have a double four, a pair of fours. So normally, and this is what is here, a pair of fours would mean some type of commitment. Now, if the Four of Wands wasn't present, it would mean some type of suppression, repression. Some type of system or structure has been set up to repress another being. Normally, it would allude to sunken place for those spiritually attuned to that, culturally attuned to that, which just means for the secular crowd, apathetic, leaving a person in a place where they can't connect with their heart, so that certain types of tactics and strategies of future abuses can be enacted. It's negated here with the Four of Wands. That takes it out of suppress, repress into working on some type of commitment. I do have to have a special mention, though, for the suppress, repress, because the Devil is present. Now, we don't have a pair of eights and we don't have a pair of fives, which talks about witchcraft, pair of fives, spell work, pair of eights. We also don't have the moon card, so I can't say that there's something baneful here, because the moon combined with the devil, or the moon combined with the death card would talk about some type of baneful magic. We don't have that either. But again, remember what I said. I'm laying down the baseline energy, and it is going to shift a few times before we conclude this reading. Okay, so just keep in mind for future in this reading, later on in this specific convening of the council today. Pardon me just a moment. Um, I went to bed and I slept like almost 10 hours, which means, again, something's being worked out in the background. We're all kind of going in the spiritual and the astral, and we're getting some type of upgrade. Um, I usually sleep about 6 to 7 hours. So that's just a message for everybody because I'm hearing that everywhere, not just in the spiritual circles, but also in my secular circles. Another thing is I'm getting started late. So that's something that I'm noticing is we're all kind of, you know, coming out of some kind of stupor, um, some kind of where the wool was over our eyes, or maybe the veil was kind of covering our eyes, or we're recognizing something that's been there all along right in front of us, but we, for whatever reason, and whatever level or facet or part of our healing cycle, weren't able to recognize, realize immediately, initially. Okay. So I want to talk about this devil just for a quick second because things are good now, but we did have to whittle through some kind of conditioning programming, maybe, or some type of malevolent, malignant, malicious, or some type of temptation or trigger, or some type of negativity, toxicity, evil, which means backwards, separation. Um, and it was malicious in its nature. It was cruel. It was nasty on purpose. Now, we might not have perceived it, might not have been able to recognize it, but part of this energy acted this way because we wouldn't engage the way it wanted us to engage. And I hate to say, but it could have also been related to some type of union that we're about to enter in, whether it was a priesthood or romantic, congenial or filial. Filial meaning romantic, congenial meaning platonic. Part of this energy was designed, or its intention was to block whatever union we're about to enter into. And every union, regardless of how it manifests, will be out of the spirit. So this is a spiritual union. It may manifest as a physical union through a member of the soul group because we have the emperor and the empress present. But none of those unions will manifest without first being married to God, being married to spirit, being married to the divine, entering into the path of the calling on our life and the divine mission that we incarnated here to embark upon. Let me be very clear. I hate to use the finger, but do you hear what I'm saying, my dear? Um, Now, this pernicious, precarious, rather pointed and prickly malignant, malevolent, malicious, or said differently, toxic, negative, evil energy wanted many temptations. Also, it wanted to open up the gate to hell where we could have easily gone towards the dark side and not known it until it was too late. It wasn't so much a trap as it was a trick and a temptation. We do have a trickster here with the devil and the magician. It can just be bona fide lies, but we don't have a seven of swords. Really what I'm discerning is there were the seeds of demise were sown. Somebody made some investments into our demise, or the seeds of demise were sown and it didn't work. It didn't work. I wanted to point that out. Didn't work. By the time we recognized what was going on, this energy had failed a couple few times. But again, I do want to say it was a long time. Whatever was going on was a long time. And there was, even though I don't see it yet, well, no, there was some type of convening or collective around this energy as well, meaning there were multiple energies that kind of came out to this amorphous, amalgamous, conglomerating globule of negative or toxic or evil energy. Because the devil in the Knight of Swords is never good. It means cruel, vicious, dogged, pernicious, and hunting. So King of Swords and the devil means cruel. But the knight also takes on the baby or the junior or the unevolved energy of the king with a few extra. So the king is more of a manifestation. The knight is more of a movement. It's a martializing of that energy. So we don't just have cruelty, we have vicious. We don't just have cruelty, we have pernicious. We don't just have cruelty, we have prickly, precarious, pernicious, as I said. Do you understand? So it's like you'd rather deal with a full grown rattlesnake than a baby rattlesnake because the baby rattlesnake doesn't have any moderation. It doesn't know when to quit, it doesn't know when to stop. It doesn't have recognition, it doesn't have moderation. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. Also, it was there. Excuse me, let me have a sip of this tea. It doesn't, well, this energy's been going on for a long time. For a very long time, there was the hope or the intention or the strategy or the agenda or the modus operandi or the tactic of having us go towards the dark. They told us what we were, they told us who we were, but they didn't tell us the whole truth, hoping that some aspect of our divine nature, Empress, highly blessed, favored, chosen, anointed, some aspect of our divinity would be corrupted. They told us who we were, they told us what we were, Emperor, um, righteous and endowed, but they didn't tell us all different facets of it, meaning protect yourself against this. Hey, you're a little innocent, naive. You need to understand that not everybody means well. Not everybody is good natured. They told us who we were, what we were, but they didn't say that, hey, you have a sacred throne. You were born with the spiritual duty and obligation. They told us who we were and what we were, but they didn't say that, hey, you're a judge. When you call judgment, God listens. When you have a prayer, it gets put to the front of the line. It gets put in the expedited file, expedited queue. So do you hear what I'm saying? They told us like 50% or 75%, so that there would always be this little portion that they could control or manipulate. Does that make sense? And who this they is, I don't know. It's an energy. How it manifests, take it as it resonates. Be right back. There's also this couple of different things here. We have the trickster energy, but also part of it is just lies or untruths, kind of like a low grade shape shifting. This didn't work, so I'll try this. This didn't work, so I'll try this. This didn't work, so I'll try that. In its reactive energy, it's not an intentional. There is some strategy here, but it's more about like, okay, I laid this foundation, I went through this. It's a checklist. It's not like a war. Okay, there's a difference between strategy and tactics. Strategy is a set of tactics. Think about it in war, and I hate to speak like this because I don't want to alarm you, but I am a tactician. Um, so tactics are what happened on the battleground. Strategy is what happens to win the war. You use tactics to win the battle. You use strategy to win the war. So put it this way: strategy is a set of tactics. So this is tactical. It's not strategic because we have two different things going on here. On one hand, there was some evil introduction. It was more like something got corrupted early on intentionally so that later on they could pull a lever or push a button and trigger some kind of. Also, though, there was some karma going on between us and whatever place or space we're going to enter into this union. It could have been a collective, it could have been the energy that is made out of us plus one other person. So it's not that difficult to understand, but we need a few baseline strategies and concepts and ideas before we could really leverage this understanding. Doesn't matter if we were one-on-one with our future bay, our future boo. It doesn't matter if we were one to many with our future collective, our future group. There's an energy that's created. So it would have been either us, not against that person, but us against the energy of the two of us together. Meaning, when you're in a relationship, 1+1 = 3, whether or not you have a child or not. Does it make sense? So when you're entering into a relationship, there's your energy There's their energy, I mean, there's our energy, and then there's the energy of our connection, of our partnership. Does that make sense? So it wasn't us against them, it was us against the energy of the union, the relationship. For some of us, it wasn't us against them because there's no them. It was us against the collective energy of whatever group we were about to enter into. Some of us are entering into TRHs, traditional religious houses, like traditional African religions, TARs. Do you understand? Some of us are going to be doing that. If you need my help, let me know, but I'm West African Voodoo, period. I don't do Orisha, I don't do Kondumble, I don't do Santaria, I don't do Palo Ifa, none of that. I don't do Haitian or New Orleans Voodoo either. It's West African Voodoo. Okay, before all the saints and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with whatever you do you, boo. More power to you. I like that for you. I'm just saying, like some of us are. So when I'm saying that it could be a sisterhood, it could be a brotherhood. Brotherhood is Brahmanical practice. It's more about the law and the administration to service. Think about the difference between a priest and a priestess. A priestess hosts the spirit. A priest presides over the spirit. Does that make sense? So a priestess will get mounted and ridden, and a priest will preside, lord, and speak over. Does that make sense? It's more of an officiant versus a host. So when I say a priesthood, a brotherhood, I'm talking more about the Brahmanical practice, the laws, the tenets, the rules, the regulations. When I talk about a sisterhood, I'm talking about a tantric practice, meaning the embodying the experience, the service, the devotion of, to. Does that make sense? So regardless of where we're going, a priesthood, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a priestesshood, a reunion, a relationship, a twin flame, a soulmate, regardless of where we're going, this future energy is battling with us. Because there's been seeds planted of kind of evil. Now, the evil isn't like, oh, you know, malicious, malignant, malevolent. It's like we were taught wrong. Or we've been hosting a couple few bits and pieces of gross energy. It's kind of like practice. Down, 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 down. Excuse me, behavioral problems. So put it this way, perfect practice makes perfect, but we didn't learn perfect. We haven't been practicing perfect. Something about our style, something about our method has been off. It's unacceptable. Or even said differently, we've been holding in our energy something that's off, something that's unacceptable. Or we might need to do a cleanse, we might need to do a purge, we might need to break off relationships or ties to certain people or maybe certain places. We might need to stop doing certain things, something like that. So again, this is why we're battling whatever future energy we're going to enter into, whether it's a union or communion or a partnership. Do you hear what I'm saying? Now, another thing about this energy is it's been there for some time. It's not new. And some aspects of this energy, it was intentional. Some aspects of this energy, they did that on purpose, knowing that later on they could veer us off towards evil or enter us into the dark and trick us to joining the wrong team. But again, we received glory, Six of Wands, and we received favor, Six of Pentacles here. So also we were innocent and naive, Ace of Pentacles and Page of Cups. We didn't know what we had. We didn't know what we do, Page of Swords. We got that message late, Knight of Pentacles. We were a late arrival. We're a late bloomer here. Something about this was delayed and protracted. It was prickly and precarious. It was slow. It took us a couple few extra minutes, a couple few extra moments than maybe everybody else. So we could have been on the slow side, and I don't mean remedial. I mean like slow moving, late blooming. We could also have some kind of affect about us that's different. But this was for us, and by birth, 4-1, 6 of Wands. That means we were born for this. We woke up like this. So however long it took us to kind of wake up or level up or handle up, It don't matter. It don't care. And we do have a King of Swords here, but that means it was going to take us a moment to get into our righteousness, to get into what's called our supreme authority. And remember, the Empress and the Emperor is out. So it doesn't matter if there's multiple queens or kings or knights here. It's all about us, because the Emperor and the Empress is in our line. So we may be an indigenous two spirit as well. For some of us, that's relevant. For some of us, it isn't. It would just talk about not only were we given a throne, but we were given a crown, and the two work together, but they are very separate in their origin or origination. This is a content-rich reading, and we're just doing the recap right now, okay? So if this takes an hour, I apologize, but we got to do the work. Okay, babe? So Virtues of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension, a sacred news channel delivering messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. We will be deliberating the findings for any type of correlative or corresponding energy from Vita Sibila. That's the Daily Oracle by Los Carabello Publishing. And also we will be deliberating any type of pairing energy from the Minor Arcana of Cosmic Coven Tarot. That is by Lillian Lazenby, and she's over at Ripe Avocado Publishing. Also, we'll be using for any type of love or romance, we'll be using Pop of Love Oracle, and that's by Vibe About It Tarot over at Etsy. And then for the baseline of the reading, we call that the guidance. We'll be imposing the guidance from This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman, and she's over at Liminal 11 Publishing for this deck. Okay, so let's do the corresponding energies here. I want to know what this Knight of Pentacles and Devil card is, because it's talking about for a long time. Because there's a heart of the matter, and there will be people who recognize things about us before we recognize them about ourselves. Yeah, there's something here at the heart of the matter, because one day it's going to be time for us to activate or wake up or be initiated. And the plan wasn't working. There was also a sense of rejection here, which I forgot to mention, because I was going on and on about, listen, there's going to be a collective energy here, whether it's a priesthood, a brotherhood, Brahmanical, tantric, whatever, what have you. It can't even be romantic, meaning a twin flame or soulmate union. It's a twin flame union, Four of Wands. Soulmate union would be Two of Cups. Twin flame union is Four of Wands. We have the 11-11 here. So whether it's a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a twin flame, don't matter, don't care. We're up against the future energy. We're up against the collective energy. Something about our current self don't fit. Something about our current self is slightly unacceptable. We haven't been practicing perfect. We learned something the wrong way. And it's because these seeds of demise were sown in. Somebody planted a couple bad fruits hoping that it would spoil the whole bunch. And it didn't work. So that's also what I want to say with this dispiacere and this Four of Cups here. Something felt rejected. Something wasn't working. I'm not seeing a bunch of backfires here, but I'm seeing rejection. Something here felt rejected. It tried to leave us in a sunken place. It tried to break us down. It tried to make us feel unworthy so that we would take little scraps, but that never worked. There's something about our self-worth and value and our self-governance and self-mastery that completely rendered this tactic inert. Yes, they tried. Yes, they set up system, structure, foundation. Yes, they planted the little seeds, but they never grew. They never bared fruit. It's because we're too special in the spiritual realm. I wish I can come closer to the camera, but I have the baby in my lap. So we were too refined. It just didn't work. Their little rata cucaracha, their little orchestration machination, it didn't work. The heart of the matter is that we are made out of spirit. We are made out of divinity, and it was never gonna happen, never gonna work. Tell me about this Four of Cups with the devil, please. What is this sunken place? Yeah. So they thought they could create a block. Letterato. They thought they could create some type of hold, some type of block. Yeah. So Spiri, consolante sorpresa. So this was thinking that they would create some kind of energy of wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up some wounding and hurting from the past. They thought they can make us nostalgic looking back towards the past. But you know what? That's a spiritual law. If you look over your shoulder, you turn into a pillar of salt. I'm going to tell you what that really means in today's modern times. If you go back to where you used to get wounded, where you used to get hurt, you render your future blessings inert. Let me put it to you this way. When you expel or eliminate from your bowels, when you expel that waste product, also known as mierda, you don't try to put it back up in there. You flush it down the toilet and you move on about your life. So when you break up with the boss, when you break up with a landlord, when you break up with a boyfriend, a lover, or whatever, what have you, we don't go back unless we realize that the basis, the foundational principles of the belief upon which we took that decision were wrong. Meaning, if we broke up with a person for something that wasn't true, okay, maybe we can go back. Or if our assumption and judgment of the situation was incorrect because we had faulty assumptions, okay, then we can go back. Or if the person that we're going back to is completely different, they've changed, they've healed, they've grown, and there was never malice or deceit. When we did break up with them, then we can go back. Otherwise, we can never go back. And I'm saying never, and I dislike that word. I never say never. We can never go back. You hear what I'm saying? That's what it means that if you look over your shoulder, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. If you go back to where you used to get wounded, you used to get hurt, you used to get broken, it renders your future blessings inert. That's what that means, pillar of salt. Salt and vinegar, they're a devocative. Do you know what that means? It means it renders energy inert. It does the reverse of invoke. It devokes, devocative. Do you hear what I'm saying? It doesn't call on any spirit, good or bad. It doesn't allow extra energy in, good or bad. If there is energy there, it expels it, it banishes it, it purges it, it washes it away. That's what salt and vinegar does. It stops any type of spiritual energy from building. In fact, it helps it decline, it helps it break down. Do you hear what I'm saying? So when you turn over your shoulder, you turn into a pillar of salt. If you go back to where you used to get hurt, where you used to get wounded, you don't go back to where you got broken in order to get fixed. That's what's being said here. So that's what we got. Then that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to hold us in space or place for some kind of reason. Now, also, something had built itself up out of what they tried to do to us. So they were able to say, oh, hey, I've got this little future tribute. I've got this little being or soul to sacrifice. Um, and they received their increase. They received their rewards. They got their flowers before they had really earned them. And so somebody's getting cut down. Somebody's getting cut down here. Something is just going to be taken away. We also might be dealing with somebody with their sun in Gemini. Yeah, la superbia. When things come out to the light, somebody's going to realize that they were spending all that time celebrating instead of locking in and plugging in. They're going to realize that very suddenly the rug from under them gets pulled out. The rug from up underneath them gets pulled out and pulled away. Yeah, because the celestial courts are being convened as well. I completely skipped that. One thing that's going on is that something in the ethers, some kind of galactic sovereign or lord of karma in the ethers, took a look at our case and said, hey, this child, this spiritual child, they should have been enshrined already. They should have been enthroned already. They should have already undergone their grace and ennoblement, meaning their coronation ceremony. What is this? Why are they still down in the ditches? Why are they still down in the dumps with all the other rats and cockroaches? What is this? And then for a period of 9 days, there was some type of judgment, meaning it's basically like a trial or investigation, but not in the human, not in the worldly. That's what we call law and order. That's the human law. Karma is universal law. So something in the celestial court that is called going to judgment. Judgment, they convened the spiritual court and there was judgment. And some energy, entity, ideology literally got cut down. Six of Wands with the Ten of Swords. Their elitehood, their elite status got canceled. Ten of Swords is canceled. Five of Swords is revoked. Three of Swords is suspended. It got canceled. They got canceled. Some energy here that went and targeted us and laid up the foundation for ensnarement, what's called the entrapment, they were rewarded for setting up the entrapment, but not for actually getting us snared in the trap. They got rewarded for laying up the trap, setting up the trap, laying down the trap. So they were celebrating before it was time. They were counting their chicken, before they hatched. Excuse me, English is not with me today. So they got cut down, and that's just something that needs to be said here, because Celestial Court was in session, and it was Big Papa. I mean, it was King of Swords with the Judgment card. Ooh, if you see that, you want that to be on your side. You do not want to see it on the opposing side. You do not want to see that on the opposing side. You want that energy to be on your side, because there's nothing you can do to not no loophole, not no tactic, not no trick in the universe is ever going to work on that. So we have love and devotion, and we're on the winning side. We were the one egreged, okay? So what's happening is the things that were set up, they're going to be covered up, meaning the people who are the energies or the entities that think they have the upper hand because they know better than us, or they're more evolved, or they're more masterful, or they've been in the game longer, or they have seniority, or they have spiritual powers that allow them foresight and fortune telling, or whatever, or what have you. What's going to happen is whatever little loophole that they got is going to be obscured, and the only thing they're going to be informed of is the fact that we have favor and they don't. That's the only thing they're going to be allowed to know from here on out. And yeah, they're going to fall pretty soon, somewhere in the weeks preceding the Libra full moon, which is next week. But you hear what I'm saying? Like, they're going to fall, and we don't know exactly how. So this reading is a long reading. We didn't do the pairings. So we have a double knight here. What's that about? Yeah, so they did try to secure some kind of position. Something here is rigid and stoic. Yeah, delaying the truth of who we are allows some other energy to manifest the whole something shit. That's really, something was withheld. Remember I said perfect practice makes perfect. Something severely broken or maladaptive. Oh, honey, you gotta get up, sweetheart. I'm so sorry, babes. Come on. Chandika, come on now. Yes, baby, come on. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Yeah, so, and this is the other side. It fell face down. So some kind of tactic to suppress, repress that was imposed upon us. They thought that they had gained some kind of stronghold. They thought that they had some kind of principality set up, but it was fully based on our demise. And the thing is, very suddenly out of nowhere, we gained the upper hand, mastery, really, unfortunately. What's this pair of aces, please? Yeah, and then we're being rewarded because we have what's called the unconditional love of the divine. The Queen of Cups receives unconditional love from God. The King of Cups gives godly love, gives unconditional love, the kind that you see in heaven. which if you're not made and of pure love, you don't make it into the higher realms of heaven. That's what Christ consciousness is. When you take Jesus into your heart as your Lord and Savior, all it means is that you have an open heart and you can be loving authentically. Yeah, so we have this unconditional love. And honestly, again, it keeps saying that there was some energy, entity, ideology that thought it could manifest off of our innocence, ignorance, or delayed information by withholding information. Um, and then also that we're learning now that we should be in union or partnership, whether it's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a tantric, a brahmanical, or some kind of twin flame. That's also part of the delayed message. Okay, I'm hearing a narrative now. So there is going to be some solution soon where we're talking to whatever side we're about to go into. We are communicating to whatever partnership union that we're about to enter into. We're saying, okay, well, here's the truth. Here's what's really going on. Here's what my recent experience are. I know that explanations are excuses. So I'll own up. I'll handle up. I'll level up. I'll boss up. I'll be accountable for XYZ. I'll be accountable for ABC, TUV, EFG. And it would help for the nurturing of our union and the nurturing of our bond and closeness through trust, vulnerability, closeness, warmth. If I explain a couple few things, maybe it doesn't matter. I'll still be accountable, but it may also be helpful to know what led to here, what got me to here, what informed those decisions or behaviors or actions or thoughts or feelings, XYZ, LNLP. There's going to be that kind of dialogue, if that makes any sense. Yeah, because there was something stuck. And so there's also rule, regulation, restriction. There's an energy restraining. There's also some terms and conditions that are according to law and order or humanity itself, but also there was some second guessing. Because there's something here destined. It's not just intended, Ten of Cups, it's destined, Ten of Pentacles. And there's an invitation, but the invitation is to be loving. Page of Wands specifically is an invitation to be loving. Ace of Cups, to be loving, to open up the heart, to share one's heart. I'm hearing a lot of narrative. So whatever we're going, we're about to start explaining, doing what's called the transmission, which you read somebody in, you share with them. Here's the A, the B, the C, the D. Here's the start, the ending, the middle, what it looks like. Here's the value. Here's the expectation. Here's the standard. Here's the boundary. We're okay. So we did the double ace. Let's do this double 10. What? I'm mistaken. Let's do this double 6. Again, so we've secured our position, and that's the truth. Once we found the truth, this other side that had some stronghold, it doesn't matter because now they're slipping. That their way in, whatever access point that they thought they had, is in our hand now. Their whatever, what have you, got canceled out. Ten of Swords. Okay, 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 okay. We have a double page here. Okay. Yeah, so rule, regulation, restriction, something has boundaries and standards, and somebody here cannot overcome either. That they're attached thinking like, oh, okay, but I set this up. Oh, okay, but aren't all the little things that I set up with you before, aren't they still working? Does my debit card still work? Does this little lie that I told you, do you still believe it? Does this little key that I have, does that still work? That they're trying to figure out. It's like, no, I changed the PIN code, I changed the locks, I changed my mind, I changed my standards, my boundaries. I leveled up overnight in the blink of an eye. And if you don't meet my standards as you are today, right now, right here, you got to go. And that's just fine with me. I know it ain't with you, but I don't care. It don't matter. I know you feel some kind of way. I know you don't necessarily agree. I know you necessarily don't like it. I know you necessarily don't understand it. And I know I most definitely do not care. That's about what this is. Um, so we're only explaining to people that are looking for explanations to grow and to heal, not to continue on what was used to be. So the questions that we're answering right now today are for where we're going, where we're growing into, not to hold on to or to keep going whatever used to be. That was yesterday, this is today. That's who I was a minute ago, this is what's going on right now. Okay, so we got to keep going. This is a very, very long reading. It might not seem like it, but I'm going to explain to you why that is. Um, I'll have to link in the show notes eventually. But this is in reference to another read that I did. Hangman, Six of Cups, that's receiving anointing, Eight of Swords, King of Wands. So yeah, we're supposed to be taking massive action, and somebody has to yield to our authority. They didn't respect our boundaries and standards, and now they're getting caught up. The Strength card, Hierophant, Three of Swords, yeah. World card. We're completely out of somebody's reach. They don't know what to do with that. They were trying to do some kind of magic, and not all magic is abracadabra, hocus pocus, energy projection, spiritual manipulation. It could simply be a set of lies, a set of smear campaigns. That's magic too. But here's the Moon card. There was some mystery that they were privy to that we were not, and then it switched up. Now we're privy to a mystery that they'll never understand. Um, yeah, so whatever tips, tricks, tactics, hidden agendas, ulterior motives, they're not working anymore. High Priestess, Nine of Pentacles, Moon card, Queen of Swords, it's out. It's a wrap. They've been iced out in some kind of way. Six of Swords, Three of Swords, yeah, so we've suspended our operations with them. We've suspended whatever union, communion, partnership we've had because it's just not, it's a no. Nine of Swords, that's a complete backfire for them. Star card, Tower card. So we're healing from crisis. We're choosing not to be in survival mode. And as we shift and restructure, as we reconvene and recollect, the thing we're telling ourselves is, I am no longer going to be in crisis mode. So as we take the new decisions, as we plan for the future, the basis of this planning is, what is peaceful? What do I got to do for peace? What do I have to do to feel safe and secure within myself? What I need to do to sleep at night? What do I need to do to respect myself? Because before, we were acting out of crisis mode. Before, we were reactive, we were fearful, we were trying to avoid loss, we weren't trying to have success. And somebody here may have their Mars in Aquarius, but there's also a cold, harsh truth that's coming out. And it's not that anything other than they never wanted us to discover the truth. And when we come into this truth, it hurts, but now we know what to do. Yeah, okay. You know, oh, hunger in my heart, this razor's cutting sharp. Oh, I'm hanging high. Why won't you let me down? I'm back where I started. You know, I'm a little lost because when it hurts the most, I push a little more. I'm back where I started. You know, I'm a little lost. Those are the lyrics to Hanging High by Lykke Li, Lykkii, Lee, Li. Oh, I'm hanging high. Oh, won't you let me down? I'm back where I started at. You know I'm a little lost. Yeah, go listen to that song. It's coming through very, very strong. So yeah, this hurt, this truth, this whatever, what have you, but it's a cold hard truth and it's a shocking revelation. The Tower card. We had the Judgment card here before as well. So the Judgment card is a revelation that's not so shocking, but it is widespread and wide shifting. This is a shocking revelation. It can be isolated, specific even to our own life. However, it does shake things up. With the Tower and the Star card, first of all, you have number 33. So that's Melchizedek. But secondly, because 17 plus 8, 16 equals 33. But also, we have this. It could either be healing from crisis. I mean, it can be it could either be healing from a crisis or survival mode. So it's both here because we have the Nine of Swords. There's double side of the coin we got to look at. With the Ten of Wands, we're breaking free from some type of conditioning and programming. There was some type of hell on earth we were thrown into, some type of curse. It could even been generational, or it could have spanned our whole life or a very long time. But we're breaking out and breaking free because this was triangulation in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. And we've achieved, we've broken out, broken free in some kind of way. This will not happen ever again in any life, number one. And number two, whatever decision we make completely changed the entire trajectory of our life. Queen of Swords with the World card. That's what that means. And it was a delayed. We got this message late. Page of Swords. It was obvious for a lot longer than we noticed. Nine of Pentacles, Page of Swords. We finally figured something out that was super obvious from the beginning, almost. So we received some type of anointing here. Six of Cups. It also means being saved, being redeemed, finding salvation. Six of Cups. Okay. Someone's passage, someone's access has been revoked. Nine of Swords, Six of Swords. That's a reversal of the six, which means no passage, no credentials. If you have credentials, they get suspended or revoked. And it's suspended here with the Three of Swords. The Ten of Swords is no longer out. But remember before I was saying somebody's getting canceled, and it's not us. It's not on our side. On our side, we have the King of Wands, Queen of Swords, World card. So we're the one with the upper hand. Because they have the Eight of Swords being arrested, Three of Wands, something's coming through that was already being worked out in the background, especially with the Moon card. That's latent. Latent is the opposite of manifest. So pain agendas, ulterior motives, secret enemies. And it's the light at the end of the tunnel. So things that are in the dark emerge to the light. Death card and the Moon card. What is that? Light. What is this light at the end of the tunnel here? So we were yoked to something that was harvesting our energy, is what I'm being told. And we finally got the message to go towards love. And the thing about going towards love is going to raise our vibration completely out of any type of spiritual interference that we're experiencing, because for a long time we've been stuck in a sunken place, intentionally or unintentionally. And it doesn't matter if we were apathetic or not, our energy was not where it needed to be for some of the spiritual blessings to come in. And the thing that'll do that for us is love. Yeah. Yeah, so now we've figured out what to do. We've figured out what to do. That message came in and we're starting to receive lots of guidance. It's just starting. So we've just had a recollection It's going to be successive again and again and again and again. We're going to be shocked and awed, awake in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. Again, there's the message of breaking free from hell here. I wonder what this mystery being revealed is, or this grand mystery that we've been under for a long time. So the truth of who we were, 'cause we're a special child, a golden child. That's really what this is. I should have said it. We are a golden child. There was this collective that was really benefiting from keeping us in the dark. And it could have been from early on in our life, but later on in our life, we came up against a separate group that tapped into whatever generational courage or magic that was put on us from somebody that we're related to. They tapped into and binded their little weaving and working into that generational thing that was already on us. So it's like they doubled down, tripled down on curse and repression, suppression, oppression, depression. Something here was very dark and nefarious. That's the mystery. That the mystery is that we are a very, very, very special child, a golden child. I mean, that's enough. There's one more thing here I want to check. Well, two things. First of all, we have, oh, you're fine. I'm sorry. You're fine, baby. Um, I want to check this. Oh, there we go. I want to check the Six of Swords with the Star card. It's saying Consolanza Sorpresa. So we were guided into something because I think we were so disappointed with all the delays and all of the spinning our wheels that the universe had to break us out, break us free. And the funny thing is, some of this is what was wished upon us, but it happened to the other side because they didn't realize that we were just in an octave higher than them vibrationally. They didn't recognize that we make the best out of anything. So go ahead and throw some lemons at us. We're going to make some rosewater lemonade. It don't matter. It don't care. You know, you could do you, boo. You know, the thing about a divine child versus an evil spawn is that one is going to make the best out of whatever circumstances. And when God blesses us, sometimes it's a lesson and sometimes it's a gift. And when God chastises or punishes us, sometimes it's a lesson and sometimes it's a gift. And that's the way we're going to take it. An evil child, an evil spawn, a fool is going to take a chastisement, is going to take some adjusting feedback, meaning negative feedback, being told that they were wrong, that they need to change, that they need to shift, that they need to evolve, that they need to handle up. They're going to take that as an offense and then they're going to turn around and be rebellious and do evil. Spiritually, we call that non-reprobate. We call that non-repenting. And so what do you think that gets you? Put it this way, if you are a cancer cell in the body of a divine being, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be cut out like a bad cancer. Okay, I'm just going to say what it is, how it is, what it looks like, and what it's going to be. That's what's up. That's what's up. So we have a pair of nines here, which means forced isolation or spending time alone, excuse me. So yeah, because we're too special. And first of all, we're high vibrational, and that finally needed to manifest something. It needed to manifest something because we were supposed to receive, and we're supposed to be in a situation where we're always receiving. But we were sealed into some kind of pattern where, okay, watch it, don't slip, darling. We were sealed into some kind of pattern where somebody else was receiving from our energy, and that had to be canceled out. And part of the lesson here was to learn discernment and learn how to take spiritual action. This is not here on the board, but we had a king before, and now we're looking at a double king, even though we don't have a double king right now. Um, our union, our first union, was with Great Spirit. The Lord was always going to bless us in some kind of way as long as we were being obedient and in alignment with the Lord. Okay, watch those nails. You're too close to my jewels, dear. I need you to be careful. Hey, what did I say to you? Thank you. So we have a triple, a double 3 here. Let's look at that. We also have another double 6. Completely different too. Okay, so let's look at this pair of 6s. 6 is support, it's favor, it's gifts, it's grace. It's also being saved or blessed in some kind of way. Expansion, exaltation. Yeah, so we were given the way out, period, point blank, end of story. And the thing we were given the way out of was something that this group had manifested out of our energy. The world was supposed to yield or bend to our favor. So something had to be revoked and repelled is the word, repel. Repelled and rebuked. Something had to be repelled and rebuked. And once we started to move differently, the energy wasn't going to work the same way. And we came out from underneath something. Okay. We came out from underneath something. I need to check again into this pair of 9s because that's okay. I remember. We were being walked around like a dog on a leash. We were being dog walked by some energy here. I hate to say it, but that's what it was. We needed to learn to secure our position in this world before we can do other things with more. I should say, before we could do other things and receive more. We need to approach a throne here. Baby, you're difficult to manage right now. Do not, you're too close to my jewels there with those nails, honey. Don't get alarmed. We need to go approach the throne. This is a special reading, and I feel like it's going to be like this for a week. So if the readings are too long, you can hit twice as fast. You can hit the ×2. I don't like long readings. They agitate my soul. We need to look at this cancellation. So we have the 3 of Swords with the... Don't be alarmed, sweetie. You want to get up? Because I'm going to do this some more. Okay, you got to move. You got to move, baby. Thank you. So we need to look at this 3 of Swords because something got suspended. Okay, so our soul was almost in some person else's hands, and it was decided by the divine that that was never going to happen because we have some kind of birthright or destiny or spiritual inheritance, and it just wasn't going to go like that. We needed to break out, break free. And I'll leave the story there, but there's more. This reading is very long, and I'm late to my run. So yeah, there was a burden. There was some kind of generational curse. There was some type of energy that was running rampant. It was keeping us suppressed in some kind of way. And so we came up from underneath that, is what that means. And then we have another 3 here. It's supposed to be, okay, so we've got to run through the gates more. We got to do 3 3s here. Okay, so this reversals is what's going on. Reversals is what's going on here. God, Allah, Buddha, Shekinah, Jehovah, it reversed some things here. Okay, they don't care about time, and I'm so sorry. I feel like this is messy and disorganized. Just remember, if the reading's going too long, you can hit ×2. It'll make me sound like Alvin and the Chipmunk, but at least you won't have to listen for as long as you're listening. I just got told to shut up. I mean, I'm wired the way that I'm wired because there's some kind of duty going on, and like that's part of the problem is like going with what we think versus what we're told, which is also known as obedience, because delayed obedience is really disobedience. And we were kind of warned a lot when we were in this energy that don't do this, do this, don't do this. And we kept saying, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And that's the thing. Yes, but means I don't agree or I don't think so or why. And since we're the Queen of Cups, the universe is always going to protect us, period, point blank, end of story. However, sometimes when we don't get protected as quickly, it's because we need to learn something or we need to be broken out, broken free from something. That's what I'm being told. So we're closing the gate now. There's some type of glory that we needed to be restored. And that's part of the shut up that I just got told is because if you don't handle things in a divine way, you need to be divinely obedient because you're in the third, fourth dimension, and we're up here in the fifth, sixth, seventh dimension. So we know more because we're in the future. You're down there in the past. You're down there in the ghetto. And we're up here in a gilded palace while you're down there with the rats and the cockroaches. So running your mouth, popping up at the mouth, having an attitude, that's not going to do anything but extend your karmic lessons. And you were put in a position of glory, yet your stinking thinking, your human thinking is perpetuating some nasty McNasty. So if we're spending all this time, energy, effort, and attention to not only protect you, but to lead you and to guide you up out the hood, up out the ghetto, up out of that maladaptive, aristocratic, perfunctory, misaligned energy, don't have the attitude as well, you know, because not every priestess does wet sacrifice, meaning we don't all spill blood to feed our gods. Hi, baby. You got to sit down right there. You hear me? Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. So the gate is closed, but I do need to tell you, this is what they were trying to avoid. They wanted us to have our eye on the prize because there is a lot of energy trying to get into our own divinity. There's a lot of energy trying to be part of our posse, and that's just not going to happen. Most of the people who come towards us right now are going to be repelled and rejected, and it's not our fault, not our problem. We can't sit there trying to heal everybody. People will let us know when they're ready to really walk forward and walk closer to us. We got to approach one more throne because the mystery wasn't truly revealed. We got summoned twice here to the throne. And I could tell you which throne specifically. I might as well do it since we're spending all this time. Grant me just a moment. For the students here, if you want to learn how to tell which throne it is in the mystery school. It's the fourth module. It's called Aerial Command. And grant me just a moment. I need to focus. So it's new. I wrote this 2 months ago, somewhere between 2 and 3 months ago. Okay, so the chapter is called All Hell Queen Harush Avatara. And one call to the throne is when you have the moon and the high priestess is the throne of beings. It's the dream. So it's the gate of Maya. And then the other throne that we had was the strength card with the um the hangman. And how do you know that the combination is because those two cards together equal 20. When two cards together equal 20 or 33, it's either a deity or a sovereign, a lord or a sovereign. So the ones that equal 20, they're lords. Okay. So when you have the hangman and the strength card together, that's the throne of galaxies. It's the sisterhood. Okay. So it's basically the Asta Matricas. Okay. And there you go. All right, so we need to go through the gates of Maya here. What is this? Hi, sweetheart. She's there hiding. I don't know if you can see her. Okay, so we didn't get told specifically what to do. Oh, we did. We have the Nine of Swords. So something here, something is getting rebuked. And because we weren't saying no to this energy, we got actually suspended until we turned something around, until we attended to a specific, precise, most particular matter, something got suspended. Because they were saying that we were foolish and we were hanging down there in the swamp. They're literally saying we were unhealed, unawakened, and we were princes running around with paupers. Excuse my language. This is not entirely my personal belief. So um, there's a mismanagement here. And we're about to be told what it is, so grant me just a moment. First thing is that we have duties and obligations, Hierophant. Period, point blank, end the story. Until we conducted ourselves accordingly, something was going to be suspended. Okay, so we are coming out of that, but again, the thing that they're going to look for, the behavior is God duties, obligations. Are we handling up on our God duties and obligations? And it sometimes takes a moment to figure out what God duties and obligations are, but that's the thing that's going to break us out, break it, because they're trying to break all curses, break all hexes, descend, lift all spells. They're trying to. Do you hear what I'm saying? And part of that is that when you're detoxing, you can't keep intaking the toxin that's making you sick. That's the lesson here. Because there's this big, hello, better recognize Five of Cups. Turn around and look at the future, not the past. Crying over spilled milk, wondering about the things that you're losing. If you spend so much time, energy, effort, and attention chasing after what you think is for you, you need no room, no space, no time for the things that are made for you to catch up to you. That's really what Spirit is trying to say here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Uh-oh, nope, we're not ready. So there's a purging and a clearing coming, and the things that we're holding on to is making it difficult to purge and cleanse. Or put it this way, it'll be a much more traumatic clearing if they do purge and cleanse. That's also, again, another reference to looking over your shoulder and turning into a pillar of salt. Is when you move on, walk on, carry on, and keep on. That's really what it is what they're trying to say. Again, I'll repeat, when you move on, walk on, carry on, and keep on. Yeah. Because there's some dicey, spicy things going on, and we don't even need to see that. We don't need to be privy to those things. A lot of people are about to be arrested spiritually and through the cosmos, and we need to let all those things that we can barely discern. It's because we're not evil. There's things that we'll just never understand. We're not evil and diabolical. There's just things that we're never going to fully comprehend. And trying to understand why the why is the why and the why of the why is just a futile, foolish endeavor. It just really don't make no sense. So there's that. We got to do this pair of threes and then we got to go. So there'll be a link in the show notes if you have a lot of questions. There'll be a link in the show notes. It'll be between the two evil eye hands. They'll literally be like this. There'll be a link in between. Okay. And if you click it, it'll take you to another YouTube. It's a post on the community page, and it'll actually give you an outline of what we talked about today. Okay, so there's an expansion here of a heart opening. We've got to move with love because some people are being left to their own devices, and a lot of these devices are false unions. They fake spiritually marry people, they join groups for the wrong reason, and people are liars, fictitious, and phony, and they're about to be exposed. So it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. This was a reading about being arrested and convicted spiritually. We need to fall in line because other people are waiting to see us trip ourselves up. And we don't know all the facets and the secrets and the tricks to how blessed we are. But some other people do. So it's been an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, trapped in the seas of time, lost of in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return the resplendent grace of unconditional love and universal oneness. Ho'oponopono, we love you, we're sorry, please forgive us, thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, your path illuminated, and that you find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dhanavat, and ashe, sayonara, das vidanya, avida zain. Take good care, bye-bye.